Welcome to our tutorial on axis systems. Let's start by creating an axis system. Select Insert, Axis System. The Axis System definition window opens. By default, the axis system appears on our workspace at coordinates 0, 0, and 0. If I click OK now, the axis system remains in the workspace. It also appears in the tree as well as Axis System.1. I can now right-click and select Delete for the time being. If you're familiar with CATIA's V4, you'll remember that this was not the case. You weren't able to delete an axis system this way. If I want an axis system to be automatically created when I start a new part, select Tools, Options, Infrastructure, and Part Infrastructure. Part Document. Let's check Create an Axis System. Then click OK. Now, when I start a new part, double-click on Part and click OK. We see that CATIA has automatically created an axis system. Our new axis system is at the origin point, as you can see. Let's go back to Part 2. Let's create another axis system. We can use the Axis System command in the Tools toolbar. By default, the axis system appears at the origin point. Under Origin, I'm going to select this vertex, and for the x-axis, I'll select this line. You can see that our axis system has changed orientation now. Check the Reverse Direction checkbox if you need to. For the y-axis, I'll select this edge and click OK. Now we have our axis system too. Let's expand the specification tree to better view the parameters right here. If we want the parameters to be shown with their values, select Tools, Options, Parameters and Measures, choose the Knowledge tab, and under Parameter Tree View, check With Value. Click OK. Now, if I attach the compass to this 3D part, and let's say rotate it, now, when I create a new axis system, you see in my specification tree that Axis System 3 appears in the same place as Axis System 2. It's oriented in the same direction as the compass. To better see, let's try attaching to a different point. I'm going to right-click on the Origin Value field. Now select Create Midpoint. We'll select this line and click OK. You also see that Axis System 3 has solid lines now, and it appears in the specification tree in yellow lines. In contrast, Axis System 2 appears under-intensified in the specification tree and appears in our workspace with interrupted lines. This means that Axis System 3 is now active, and Axis System 2 is now inactive. Let me move the compass. Let's create another axis system. Under Axis System Type, let's select Axis Rotation, the second option. Let's select the origin. Under the x-axis, let's select this line. CATIA prompts us to select a reference also. Lastly, I'll specify an angle. Let's say 35 degrees. If I select different reference geometry, the axis orientation system will change. Let's create one more axis system. This time, we will use the third option, Euler Angles. Let's select the origin, point 3. Now we can define the angle values. Click OK. We can switch easily between access systems. Simply right-click, Access System Object, and select Set as Current. Access System 2 is now our current access system. I can right-click again, select Access System 2 object, and let's select Set as Not Current. The Access System 2 will now be under-intensified in our specification tree. If you want to edit an access system, simply double-click on it in the specification tree and then adjust the parameters. You can adjust the value of the individual parameters as well by right-clicking on the parameter. Let me move the specification tree a little bit. Right-click on the parameter and simply make your adjustments as required and click OK when you're finished. We can use formulas as well. Right-click, Euler Angle 2 object, Edit Formula. Now let's choose Angle and select Angle 3. Double-click, click OK. Now if I right-click the Euler Angle 3 object definition and I change this value here, I'll see that the value changes right in the specification tree. Click OK. In order to see formulas in the specification tree, select Tools, Options, Parameters and Measures, select the Knowledge tab, and check the With Formula option. Click OK. As you can see, we see the formula in our specification tree. And this concludes our tutorial on access systems. We'll be touching upon this subject again in subsequent tutorials in this course.